preaches. But Sayyid Nursi says you can have different ideologies. He believed in faith-based activism, which according to him is the primary need of contemporary Muslims in particular and human beings in general. Nursi exhorted Muslims to compete in progress and civilization with others. According to him, civilization are marked not merely by material progress that they achieve, but also by the inculcation of human values that they nurture among human beings. There is a need for inter-religious and intercultural dialogue, because he says it is only through dialogue that people can come to know about each other, their culture, and there can be changes for social progress, etc. He thus emphasized the need for social change, emancipating from below rather than from above. So he says, even though you are from a below community, you are not economically well off or something, or even as considered, the women are considered the inferior sex in society. But he says it is always the norm. It is always, when you look at the society, we look at from the hierarchical perspective. It is from the top-down view. But we should say, look at from the bottom-up view. Nursi tried to demonstrate the compatibility of science and religion, freedom, faith, morality, and modernity and tradition. Sayyid Nursi later laid the foundation of Risale-e-Nur, which is the modern contemporary of Quran. Risale-e-Nur constitutes an alternative basis upon which Muslims can build their personality. Nursi always supported freedom of speech and considered it necessary framework for genuine faith. He represented a seismic shift from oral Islam to printed Islam. He wanted Muslims to rationalize the Quran and take science seriously. Nursi defines Islam in terms of tolerance, love, and reason. According to Nursi, a just society is not built by force, but by righteous men and women. Being a Muslim in Nursi ways means becoming a conscious Muslim in good deeds and knowledgeable in science, culture, and business. He says that women are a major part, play a major role in this because they are considered as the carrier of culture for future generations. Islam has never asserted women as inferior to man, rather made a point that they are just differently created. Man and woman in Islam are equal participants and partners. With modernization and development, the picture is changing. Women, the issue of women, be it Islam or any other religion, is one of the major issues. And the fact is, the woman is now no longer ready to accept a secondary position in society. What Muslim women wear on their faces and bodies has been the symbolic battleground for challenges and differences. In culture is the double burden of oppression. Once, the fact is, people prefer to educate their male children over females, so she has to face the burden at this level to fight for education. And on the other hand, when we talk about hijab, so like we see the case of France, where the headscarf debate happened, where you cannot portray your religious symbols in public. So now the woman has to face two burdens. First of all, you have to fight for your position in society that let me also study, and on the other hand, you are not allowed to wear hijab and go to schools. So that way, she has to face the double burden. So problem increases. While we see in case of UK, it is not like that. They have adopted a more multicultural approach. So they are liberal, as in you can wear hijab and go to schools. Although society tells women that they can wear what they want to wear, but every time a rape occurs, a woman is often put on trial and often asked questions, what were you wearing? This harsh judgment and tolerance towards Muslims further suppresses them. There are double standards between men and women. In Islam, girls are not considered the property of their fathers and have complete control over their sexuality. She is like a solar planet in the legal personality of her own. According to Quran, man and woman are equal partners. To quote, they are your garments and you are their garments. The function of the garments being to protect, cover, and adore her. Women are accorded different rights and privileges because of the government and customs in area. For example, many American Muslim women are discriminated against because they cover their heads. Pakistani women have political rights but are often exploited by men. Saudi women have no public role, yet they are protected by Muslim men. It is basically the patriarchal mindset that is present in the so-called modern world, which places the woman as the second sex. Laura Mulvey very clearly states this as male gaze. Male gaze basically means it is how the man looks at a woman. Similarly, the woman looks at her just as a man looks at her. So that basically shows that the agency of the female is basically missing in the society. She doesn't consider her having an individual existence, because the moment, every time she relates it to the man, how he looks at her, how she's supposed to behave in the society according to the male setup. One feminist, Nivita Menon, she talks about commodification of the female body, which she says is the object of male desire and sellable in the market. As we see with modernization, in the media you can see it's always, be it a car, automobile ad, be it a beauty product ad, every time a woman is portrayed as a sexual object. So who is doing this? The woman, obviously, some people need money, they are doing it, but not women. The Quran repeatedly encourages to seek knowledge. In fact, the word ilm or knowledge is the third most used word in Quran. Islam liberates women from a society that extensively restricts their right, were given rights of inheritance, property ownership, divorce, and even education, thereby elevating their status. For example, Aisha Abu Bakr, the wife of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, was known for her intellect and role as an educator. We see in Surah Iqra, it states, educate all. It doesn't say be it a male or a female. So it basically shows that Islam is a religion which promotes education for all. So what is happening now, many people are not sending their daughters to education, maybe due to exposure or whatever the problem might be. But the fact is, now there are some female who are educated, and then when it comes to marriage, Islam prohibits dowry. But what is happening in the present world with modernization? People are taking up dowry. But according to people who follow Islam, they cannot take money to give dowry to their daughters. So automatically, education here becomes a problem for the female. Now, modernization is a unilinear, but not a unilinear but multilinear faith. Nursi emphasized the importance of what analysts described as belief by investigation and not belief by imitation. There is Islamophobia and racism that is going on in the country, like the 9/11 attack that happened. After that, the Muslims are stereotyped. The moment you see a man with a beard, you consider that person as a terrorist. So we see with Muslims, the stereotypes is attached to their identity. And with time, this is existing, but people are revolting against these stereotypes. But the fact is, over the time, this thing is getting naturalized in society. Nursi advocates positive action, meaning patient and silent struggle towards jihad to strengthen faith by peaceful means. He never sought revenge even against those who persuaded him. He cautioned Muslims not to blindly adopt Western civilization with all its faults, but only to relate its positive features. Nursi adopted a modern approach. He wanted to see the involvement of ordinary people in the constitutional order. Religion has been a particular controversial in development discourse and planning in the area of gender equality. Most religions are perceived to interest men with higher authority, and agency of women is particularly ignored. Modern Western identity is dependent on its appropriation of Islamic order, often portrayed as fundamentalist, despotic, or backward. Yeah. Just to, I want to give an example that Fatima Joel, she wears hijab, and currently she is a pilot in South African Airlines. She says hijab has never been a problem for her. She says that sometimes even the blame hijab for lack of opportunities, which is actually not the problem. Now, just to conclude, I would say that Nursi said it is not sufficient simply to be a Muslim and to follow Muslim practices. One must reflect upon and articulate one's faith in practice. He says, Nursi says, point out that